Today's a WRAL weather alert day. This front stalled over us could help to bring some pockets of flooding later today and tomorrow. So we have WRAL weather alert days. I'll walk you through it.
And speaking of which, a wet weekend ahead. High school football and other family fun could get rained out or rained upon. Everything you need to know as you head out the door.
Plus, a car into a house. This morning, a Johnson County woman woke up to a crash. We'll take you through the damage left behind by the driver. We got a lot to get to on this Friday morning. Welcome. I'm Kelsey Coffey, in for Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Ken Smith. Listen, dry start to the morning, but boy, are things changing for the weekend. Let's get back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner of the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking it all for us.
This is our next weather maker, and it's a front that's stalled over our area right now. We do have a level 1 out of 4 risk for flooding for today. We did have some flooding in a few places yesterday, including Benson, where they were trying to have Mule Day. So today is a WRAL weather alert day for some pockets of heavy rain. It doesn't mean that you'll definitely see flooding, but there's that chance. We have a 50% chance of storms developing later this afternoon, and some heavy rain is possible there. Some sprinkles are starting to develop across the area this morning. Take a closer look at that in a few minutes. Saturday, it goes up to a level 2 out of 4 risk for flooding, and of course, it is also a weather alert day. From now all the way through Sunday, we could see anywhere from 1.5 inches to maybe 2.5+ inches of rain. So we have the chance of seeing some heavy rain. It is not going to rain all day long, all through the weekend. It will come in waves and in pockets. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the mid-80s. Then we're going to turn our attention early next week to what's happening in the tropics. We have Hurricane Umberto, and we also have this system near the Dominican Republic that could develop into Imelda. There are multiple scenarios that could happen with Imelda, but one of those is a landfall somewhere in the Carolinas. And of course, that could bring us a lot of heavy rain. Right now, we're looking at the chance of 4 to 5 inches total between now and Tuesday. We'll be watching for the tropical developments. And of course, we'll have that flood risk as well. Coming up, we'll talk more about some of the scenarios we could see for early next week.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. If you're getting ready to head out the door, and the southern loop of the Beltline is part of your morning commute, these are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. And right now, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown around the Lake Wheeler Road area on I-40 westbound. But really and truly, it just dropped from 6 minutes to a 2-minute delay. If you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County, Highway 36 to the Beltline, no delays whatsoever. And of course, you're using Wade Avenue to get to all points west. It's all delay-free as well. That northern loop of the Beltline, we're also seeing a little bit of a delay starting around Capitol Boulevard, but once you get past Six Forks, so it is relatively clear sailing. You're just looking at a 4-minute delay. To the east of Raleigh, no congestion whatsoever on I-87. Those are the southbound lanes coming toward us right near the Smithfield Road exit. So that's really good news if you're about to head out. Just a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Nidale this morning. For our friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 2-minute delay coming in on US 1 and Capitol Boulevard. Over in Durham, really the only troubled spot in terms of the main mode is I-885. You're looking at a 7-minute delay because we're seeing some congestion starting around TW Alexander Drive. But if you're leaving Durham this morning to get to I-40 on 885, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay. If you're getting ready to head into the car, though, tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Charges are pending against a driver who crashed into a home in Johnston County this morning. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows damage to the home on Jack Road near Clayton. The crash happened just after 1:15 this morning. State Highway Patrol says the car hit a mailbox and a ditch before going through a field and hitting the house. The driver ran off but was found at a nearby home and then taken to Wake Med. No one was in the house when that was hit. Breaking news, 2 people were out of their home after a fire early this morning in Cary. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker on Lochinver Court off Glasgow Road. Officials say the fire broke out in the home's garage just after midnight. Firefighters were able to contain it there. Smoke damaged the inside of the home. No one was hurt, and the cause of that fire is still under investigation. A dry start to the morning, but we are looking ahead to a stormy evening and weekend. We have team coverage of preparations for this bout of severe weather. Johnson County's Mule Days Festival is expecting another washout after a rainy start last week.
Yeah, but let's start with weather preparations in Raleigh. WRAL's Heidi Kirk live at Lake Johnson this morning. And Heidi, that's where the water level will be lowered because of anticipated flooding.
Well,
Well, Ken, it's actually a beautiful morning out here at Lake Johnson. I'll step out of the way and show you what we're looking at. The sun just came out within the last couple of hours, but of course that rain is on the way. Now, as of last night, we've heard from the city that the lake has been lowered by about 1.25 feet. And the WRAL weather team says that tropical system could have the biggest impact early next week. But there's also a lot of rain headed this way over the weekend. Anywhere from 3 to 5 inches is expected in central and eastern North Carolina over about a 5-day period with some isolated higher amounts. Now, Raleigh officials said they'll continue to evaluate the lake levels and let us know if they plan to lower it even more heading into the weekend. Lake levels are expected to be down about 2 to 2.5 feet today. And of course, we'll continue checking in with those officials. But again, out here right now, completely dry, beautiful day, but we know that that rain is on the way and we will continue to monitor those conditions. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Heidi, thank you. And Johnston County got a sneak peek of that rain last night, the first night of Mule Days Festival. Saw some of that flooding that you can see here on your screen. So WRAL's Allie Kacklebar is in Benson this morning. Allie, you saw some of that leftover water when you arrived there this morning.
And Kelsey, I just spoke with some organizers here. They said the band couldn't even perform last night, and you can see why in this video. Here's a closer look. You can see all of that flooding in front of where vendors are set up. And now you can also see how it rose to people's shins and the concession booths there. Now, 2 years ago, a similar thing happened. The rain impacted the events, the festivities, but the show went on, and that's what they plan to do today. They're going to have a mule show, live music, rodeo, and all of the festivities. Those are set to continue as planned, and they encourage people to come out, rain or shine.
We're taking it as it comes. Sometimes we have to punt, back up and punt and figure out what we're going to do at the last minute. But people are still here. Our town is already full of campers. They've come for a big weekend.
And I did just speak with an organizer, and he told me almost, quote, word for word, that the mules don't care about the rain and cowboys wear cowboy hats so the rain doesn't get on them. So we'll have to see about that. But we know tomorrow the concert was moved inside, and the parade is set to go on as normal at 10 a.m. Festivities are supposed to kick off right here at 10 a.m., and the sun is shining down on me, as you can see right now. Reporting live in Benson, Allie Kacklebar, WRAL News.
Yeah, I'll be there in the morning, and Mike Mays will be there in the afternoons. We will bring our umbrellas and ponchos. So listen, state emergency management leaders say teams are ready to respond to any type of tropical weather, and you should be as well.
You have a disaster kit, take a minute to inventory it. Where do you stand on that? Is everything still good to go in there? Are your batteries still charged? Your flashlight's good to go?
Grady says it's important to remember the lessons learned over the past several years. It only takes one storm to create a setback for a community for years. You can track the threat in real time. The redesigned WRAL weather app provides you access to the dual Doppler 5000 radar. That means you can use the same technology to track the models that our severe weather team uses.
And today, Governor Josh Stein will give a speech marking 1 year since Helene devastated North Carolina's mountain communities. The event will honor survivors' resilience and celebrate the progress of rebuilding. Stein will give his speech at 4:30 this afternoon at Avery County's NC Cooperative Extension. And in 10 minutes, how a woman is preparing her home for the next storm after it was damaged by Helene.
Well, today, the State Health Plan Board is taking steps in the event thousands of state workers have to find new health care providers. The board is meeting because Duke Health and Aetna Insurance have not reached a deal on reimbursement rates. Aetna will drop Duke if the two sides cannot reach an agreement by October 20th. If that happens, Duke would become out of network. Thousands of state workers would have to find a new provider. Also, insurance costs could go up. The board is expected to take action to prepare if a deal is not reached. They are meeting this morning around 11:30.
And more on health care here. Governor Stein declined to say what he'll do with a crime bill drafted in response to a deadly stabbing in Charlotte. State lawmakers passed the bill this week. The legislation restarts the death penalty in our state. It enacts stricter rules for bail and ramps up the monitoring for suspects who suffer from mental illness. In an interview yesterday, Stein reiterated calls for lawmakers to better fund for people with mental illnesses.
People need a place to go when they're having a schizophrenic attack. If they are a risk to themselves, if they're a risk to other people, we need some place for them to go. And one thing this bill doesn't do is provide any funding to help us address that issue.
House Speaker Destin Hall says the bill provides real public safety solutions. Stein can sign the bill into law, veto it, or let it become law without his signature. He plans to make a decision next week. Sunday, you can watch the Carolina Panthers on Fox 50. The Panthers will be looking for their second win of the season as they go on the road to play the New England Patriots. Kickoff for the game is at 1 o'clock. After that, Sunday Night Football has the Green Bay Packers in Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Coverage on WRAL starts with Football Night in America at 7. Kickoff is at 8:15.
And don't forget about high school football. Tonight, after WRL News at 11, we're bringing you highlights from about 25 local games. Our Bojangles Game of the Week, Millbrook at Roseville. You won't want to miss all the action.
1 year later, a woman is sharing the lessons she learned in Helene, how she is better prepared for the next storm.
And workers protest. Starbucks announcing hundreds of layoffs and store closures. We'll show you how employees are sharing their disapproval.
Today's a WRAL weather alert day, and I'm watching a little rain back here near Charlotte that's starting to approach us. We'll talk about the timeline for rain and when you're more likely to see flooding coming up. It's 8:14, and today and tomorrow are both WRAL weather alert days for the potential for some localized flooding. That means that not everybody will see it. This is our weather maker right here, this stalled cold front. And there's a lot of tropical moisture in place, and so this is going to be the focus for that. Notice on the southern end of that front, down towards Charlotte and into South Carolina, there's a little light patchy rain. Later this afternoon, it's more likely to be some thunderstorms. We have some rain right now that's falling there in Mecklenburg County, Virginia, along that front. Just a 20% chance this morning, but later this afternoon into the evening, it goes up to 50% chance. Today's not going to be a washout by any means, but we do have that level 1 risk for some flooding because some of the rain could be fairly heavy. Same thing again tomorrow. It's not going to rain all day. Tomorrow's not going to be a total washout, but there may be some heavy rain that falls. 50% for today, 70% chance Saturday, and a 50% chance again on Sunday. We also have a close eye on the tropics. We'll talk about the 2 systems that we're watching coming up.
Let's with some good news if you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, because really all our major routes are relatively delay-free. These I-40 and Rock Quarry Road, the westbound lanes of the southern loop of the Beltline coming toward us this morning. In terms of other major routes coming into Raleigh and Wake County, 3 minutes if you're coming in from Wake Forest. This is a 1-minute delay on I-87 coming in from Nidale. And similarly, over in Durham, very little to no delays. That the congestion that we were seeing on I-885 that's going into Durham, dissipating as we speak.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, President Donald Trump very active on social media this morning, attacking James Comey regarding the surrender that's supposed to happen today. He is essentially saying that James Comey did lie. He said it's not a complex lie, but a very simple and important one. He calls him a dirty cop. And this is all connected to the investigation back from 2016 into Russia collusion into the election that happened there. In fact, there's a live image up right now of the courthouse where he is expected to be, James Comey. But it's one thing I absolutely have to make sure that I note is that Comey's deputy, Andrew McCabe, has said that Comey authorized him to leak information to the press, and that was according to a Justice Department report. But the report also found McCabe made multiple false or misleading statements. So we're going to keep watching for that because this is very significant, something that's been kind of bubbling up for just shy of about 10 years at this point.
We talked to a family still recovering from Helene, which devastated the western part of our state 1 year ago. WRAL visited Michelle Denny after her home was nearly destroyed by floodwater. For months, she lived without running water, and her Ashe County home reeked of mold. A year later, Habitat for Humanity has repaired the property. Denny now says the house is ready to withstand another storm.
They closed in the crawl space and they put these large drain pipes through the concrete going out into the yard that if water ever got in the crawl space again, it would definitely be able to go and be expelled right away.
Although Denny says her renovated home is hurricane ready, after surviving Helene, she plans on seeking shelter somewhere else if another storm moves through the area. Starbucks workers in America are protesting job cuts and store closures.
Starbucks is eliminating 900 non-retail jobs. Company management hopes the corporate layoffs will help focus resources on stores and the customer experience. Some underperforming stores will be closed. The restructuring will cost Starbucks roughly $1 billion. It's a packed weekend of festivals and celebrations.
It's time to take a look at WRAL's Out and About Weekend Best Bets.
Well, today, a full weekend of Pride celebrations getting underway in Durham. The LGBTQ Center of Durham puts on the annual Pride Festival. Tonight, a concert and rally will be held at the CCB Plaza. Tomorrow, a parade will be held, and Sunday will end with a festival with a market and food trucks.
And the 47th Annual International Folk Festival is back in downtown Fayetteville. The festival celebrates diversity and features arts, crafts, music, and food from all around the world. It runs from 10 a.m. to tomorrow at 9:30. The festival is free and open to the public. For more weekend best out and abouts, you can visit WRAL.com. Search Out and About. And Elizabeth, we know that we are tracking a system that could impact some of those events. So what have you been watching on the radar?
So our big weather maker is this cold front right here. It's going to stall over us over the weekend and interact with all the tropical moisture that's in place. You step outside and it feels really muggy. So lots of moisture there. We're starting to see some showers develop along this front down into South Carolina and around Charlotte. That's probably going to ride on up the front. Initially, that's likely to just be some light showers. We have some rain that moved up the I-85 corridor there into Mecklenburg County, Virginia. But eventually, some of this rain will likely become some thunderstorms. This cold front will bring us some storms later this afternoon. So it is a WRAL weather alert day. We'll walk through Futurecast. We're pretty quiet this morning. Closer to lunchtime, you can see a few cells popping up. Notice that this is not an all-day rain. You know, the map is not covered in green. But a few of these cells could produce some heavy rain. And this version of Futurecast shows a lot of that being during the evening. Then Saturday, more of that on top of the rain that we saw. A little bit more widespread, possibly on Saturday. Look at how widespread it is there at lunchtime. But again, it doesn't last all day. We're not looking at a washout today or tomorrow, or really Sunday for that matter. But we do have the chance for some flooding because we will have some heavy downpours. It's a level 1 out of 4 risk for it today. Our weekend setup will continue to help push more moisture into our area along that front that could continue to produce some heavy rain. Again, we do have that level 2 risk for flooding on Saturday. Looking ahead to what we might end up seeing over the weekend, Monday and Tuesday, we'll be watching a couple of tropical systems. One of those is Umberto, which is already a hurricane, and the other one is still trying to develop down here near the Dominican Republic, and it would be Imelda. Let's take a look at Umberto. It rapidly intensifies to Cat 3 by Sunday morning and then could be Cat 3 or 4. It stays off the coast of North Carolina most likely. But so did Aaron. You remember Aaron? We had a lot of damage along the Outer Banks, even though that storm stayed offshore. We take a look at our potential for rainfall from now all the way through, say, late Tuesday night. And it could easily be 4 to 5, maybe even some pockets of 6 inches, depending on what happens in the tropics. We'll be watching that very closely. In the meantime, some of this rain could affect your weekend plans. Meteorologist Grant Skinner here to talk more about that.
I want to start with Football Friday because we have showers and storms possible this evening. Rain chances up to around 50 to 60% into the evening hours, up to around 70% late this evening. So that could affect your plans if you're going to be outdoors this evening. It's a WRAL weather alert day because of those showers and storms into this evening. And then more showers and storms this weekend. That could bring at least a low-end flooding threat into Sunday, a level 2 of 4 threat, so elevated threat into our Saturday, a 70% rain chance. That best window of time to see those showers and storms for Benson Mule Day is going to be into the afternoon and evening. evening. Rain chances up to around 70% by 1 o'clock. That will continue through around 5, 6 p.m. into the evening. So better chances for showers and storms not only later today, but also into Saturday. And we could see a higher rain chance into the first half of next week with that possible tropical system moving closer to our area. We'll have to watch that exact path as we have get better information that becomes better organized over the next couple of days. But again, WRAL weather alert days today and tomorrow for that rain chance. Also a localized flooding threat will cool off into the 70s in the next week.
And Grant, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, if you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, nothing but good news to report. All our major routes, including I-40 and WRAL Road, those are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning, flowing nicely in all directions. Really, zeros running wild. If you're coming in from on I-40 westbound, the southern loop of the Beltline, you're using that Wade Avenue to get to all points west. And even you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County this morning, delay-free, which is really good news. Even to the east of Raleigh, we're seeing that. Now, the northern loop of the Beltline as well, just a 1-minute delay between Capitol Boulevard and Wade Avenue. So you're getting ready to head out the door this morning. Wherever you're headed, you will get there on time. To the east of Raleigh, we're not seeing any congestion whatsoever on I-87. Those are the southbound lanes coming into Nightdale and subsequently into the capital city. This is what will look like, a 1-minute delay. Come on, we'll take that. And if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning on US 1 Capitol Boulevard, if you will, 3-minute delay. If you're getting ready to head out the door, though, tune us in on the radio. We'll keep you updated, 101.5 HD3.
Marking 1 year today, Governor Stein will give a speech in the North Carolina mountains. His plans to honor survivors a year after Helene hit. And lowering the lake. Raleigh is preparing for lots of rain in the coming days, which you need to know ahead of multiple storm systems.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It's 8:26. I'm Kelsey Coffey. Here's meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
It is a WRAL weather alert day. Both today and tomorrow, we have a stationary cold front that's sitting over us, and that is going to be the focus of some rain for today. And some of that could be heavy at times. A couple sprinkles up in Mecklenburg County, Virginia, but look back here towards Charlotte. There's another wave of rain that's going to be moving in. It's likely to be fairly light and patchy this morning. Later on this afternoon, we'll have some scattered storms. Some of those could produce some heavy rain. And so we do have a level 1 out of 4 risk for flooding for today and a level 2 risk for tomorrow. We have a 50% chance of rain today, 70% chance tomorrow, and the rain continues into Sunday, Ken.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, taking a look at the northern loop of the Beltline, I-440 and New Bern Avenue. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning, flowing nicely in all directions, really and truly. And that's what we're seeing on many of our, if not all of our major routes coming into Wake County, capital city. Just a 3-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest on US 1, Capitol Boulevard. And similarly, we're not seeing any delays on any of those major routes heading into Durham as well. Relatively delay-free at this hour.
Charges are pending against a driver who crashed into a home in Johnston County this morning. The crash happened just after 1:15. State Highway Patrol says the car hit a mailbox and a ditch before going through a field and hitting the house. The driver ran off but was found at a nearby home and then went to the hospital. Benson Mule Days will continue through this weekend despite a wet start. You can see flooding at the festival grounds last night. Mule Days organizers say they are going to move forward with tomorrow's festivities despite the rain. Next on Fox 50, a fire in Cary this morning leaves 2 people out of their home. And up next on Today, a performance from Leona Lewis.
Today's a WRAL weather alert day. We have a front that'll stall over us, bringing us a good chance for rain, possibly some flooding today and tomorrow. I'll explain what you could see.
And speaking of which, preparing for heavy rain, whether you're going out to high school football games or another outdoor event, you need to be ready up for the weather. We have team coverage of what to expect tonight and into the weekend.
Plus, crime bill future. Governor Josh Stein weighs in while the future of a new sweeping crime bill remains unclear. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kelsey Coffey in for Michelle McConaughey.
Boy, we got a lot going on. I'm Ken Smith, and for that, let's get right back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner at the WRAL Severe Weather Center, because so much of what's going to happen depends on how this stuff sets up.
Exactly. This is our next weather maker, this cold front here. It's producing a few sprinkles up in Mecklenburg County, Virginia, and then Mecklenburg County, North Carolina as well over here towards Charlotte. Right now, it's just some patchy light rain, but later this afternoon, we could have a few cells develop that produce some heavy rain. For example, there was no rain at my house yesterday, but in Benson, they had some flooding. So it's going to be scattered at best, but it is still a WRAL weather alert day for that potential. Lots of events happening tonight and tomorrow. So we just want you to be aware that we do have that potential for some flooding. It's a 50% chance for rain today. Looking ahead to tomorrow, it's an even higher chance. Weather alert day, we have a medium risk for flooding on Saturday, and our chance for rain is 70%. Here's a look at our rainfall potential all the way through the weekend. Total, we could end up with 1.5 inches to maybe 2.5 inches of rain. Today's going to be warm and muggy, temperatures in the mid 80s, and because of all that moisture, that's where we're going to have that potential for some heavy downpours. Looking ahead to the tropics, where Gabrielle is moving way off, but Umberto became a hurricane today. We're still watching to see if this system is going to develop. How strong it is will depend on where it ends up. It's possible that it could make landfall in the southeast, or it could get swept up closer to Umberto. So that's what we're watching closely. What we're expecting all the way through the middle of next week is up to 4 to 5 inches of rain. We'll be watching that tropical threat and, of course, the flood risk, too.
This is what's happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Let's take a spin around the Beltline. Let's start with that northern loop of the Beltline. You're looking at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. These are the westbound lanes moving toward us this morning, and traffic flowing nicely in both directions as well. That southern loop of the Beltline, similarly, those are the eastbound lanes moving away from us. So if you have property at the beach, you're trying to get an early start, you get down to check on that property, maybe secure some stuff on your property. Those are the eastbound lanes, and it's clear sailing right now, so nothing real to worry about in terms of when you get on I-40 westbound. Similarly, if you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County, you're coming in from Highway 36 there, you're looking at no delays. That southern loop of the Beltline we just showed you, no delays whatsoever. You're using Wade Avenue to get to All Points West. Delay-free. So this is what it looks like in terms of the big picture. You're coming in from Wake Forest, you're looking at a 3-minute delay, just a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Nightdale. As always, you're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. We'll keep you updated.
Charges are pending against a driver who crashed into a home in Johnston County this morning. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows damage to the home on Jack Road near Clayton. The crash happened just after 1:15 this morning. State Highway Patrol says the car hit a mailbox and a ditch before going through a field and eventually hitting the house. The driver ran off but was found at a nearby home. Then they were taken to the hospital. No one was inside the home that was hit.
We're following some breaking news right now. 2 people are out of their home after fire early this morning in Cary. This is video courtesy of the WRAL breaking news tracker on Lindenau Court off Glasgow Road. Officials say the fire broke out in the home's garage just after midnight. Firefighters were able to contain it, though. Smoke damage was seen inside that home. No one was hurt, which is important. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
And 2 people are hurt after a car crashed on 1010 Road in Cary. It happened just after midnight near Merrimack Drive. Police say speed was a factor in the crash. Officers are working to learn whether the driver was impaired. There's no information about how badly the people who were in the car were hurt.
Here in the WRAL Live Center, just keeping my eye on the area of the tropics that our meteorologists are looking at, but from a different perspective, right? So if we zoom in here a little bit, you can see the activity that's been out there. It's keeping pretty occupied for the most part, but if we look at this camera here, this is what we have in the Dominican Republic at a beach resort that's there. You see the wind. It's kind of whipping those palm tree fronds a lot more than it was before, and the water's getting a little more aggressive there too. And this is just kind of part of what we're going to be doing in terms of our coverage of what's happening in the tropics. So make sure you download the redesigned WRAL weather app. You can stay up to speed and you can track the exact type of information that our meteorologists use right here at WRAL.
And Chris, before we worry about that storm you just talked about, we have team coverage of what's happening this weekend as wet weather is in our forecast. We start with WRAL's Heidi Kirk in Raleigh. Of course, Ali Katlabar is in Benson. So, Ali, the city's working to lower the risk of flooding from Lake Johnson.
Well, Ken, of course, they've got a lot of things going on in preparation for that rain, and this is one of them. Take a look out here at Lake Johnson. Beautiful out here this morning. In fact, you can even see someone out there paddleboarding, but that rain is on the way, and they are getting ready for it. So as of last night, the lake was lowered by about 1.25 feet. The WRAL weather team says the tropical system could have the biggest impact early next week. But there's also a lot of rain headed this way over the weekend, as we've been telling you. Now, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain is expected in central and eastern North Carolina over about a 5-day period, with some isolated higher amounts. Now, Raleigh officials said they'll meet again today to evaluate and make a choice on whether or not to keep lowering the lake into the weekend. Lake levels are expected to be down about 2 or 2.5 feet today. And of course, that's something that they will continue to monitor. Now, again, beautiful out here right now, but that rain is coming, and we will continue to monitor all of those conditions for you. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Heidi, thanks. And in Benson, heavy rain is already causing problems as Mule Days gets underway. This video shows parts of the grounds that flooded last night. WRAL's Allie Cadlabar joins us live now in Benson. Allie, organizers say they are making some changes ahead of more rain this weekend.
Kelsey, luckily no rain right now, as you can see the practice underway right now, but take a look at this video from last night, and here's a closer look of it. You can see there was flooding on the strip of streetway that had vendors set up, but you could also see the water rose to people's shins and the concession stands. Now, 2 years ago, they also had rain impacts, but the show went on, and that's what they plan to do today. They have a live mule show. They also have live music. They have a rodeo schedule. The organizers say that rain or shine, they encourage people to come out.
Just get your poncho and come on out. Unless it's thunder or lightning or hailing or it's a monsoon, come out and enjoy the weekend with us.
And we're enjoying the weekend with them right now. We have the Liberty Long Ears drill team. They are practicing behind us. They say that the arena, it's actually good and damp, which is a good condition for them to ride on. So, of course, we're going to be keeping you updated on all of the events. We have all of those changes that we mentioned on WRAL.com. And WRAL is a proud media sponsor, and so we're going to keep you updated. But look at them. So amazing. Reporting live in Benson, Allie Cadlabar, WRAL News.
That looks like so much fun, Allie. You can track the rain threat and the tropics in real time. The redesigned WRAL weather app has the dual Doppler 5000 radar. You can also track the models on those storm systems to get an idea of where they are going. And be sure to turn on your push notifications so you can see alerts about weather changes in your neighborhood right in the palm of your hand.
Well, today, communities in the western part of the state, along with Governor Josh Stein, marking 1 year since Hurricane Helene impacted western North Carolina. The governor will be the keynote speaker at the Blue Haven Block Party and 1 year remembrance in Newland. The event will honor survivors' resilience and celebrate the progress of rebuilding 1 year later. Governor Stein is set to make his remarks around 4:30 at the Avery County Center in Newland. And in just about 10 minutes, we'll hear more stories from Helene, including from the heartbroken husband of the woman whose body was swept away during that storm.
Governor Stein won't make a decision on whether to sign a sweeping new crime bill until next week. Yesterday, the governor declined to say what he'll do with the bill drafted in response to a deadly stabbing in Charlotte. State lawmakers passed the bill this week. The legislation restarts the death penalty in our state, enacts stricter rules for bail, and ramps up the monitoring of suspects who suffer from mental illness. In an interview yesterday, Stein reiterated calls for lawmakers to better fund programs for people with mental illnesses. House Speaker Destin Hall says the bill provides real public safety solutions. Stein can sign the bill into law, veto it, or let it become law without his signature.
Still ahead, planned attack. Investigators say the Dallas ICE facility shooter had the attack in the works for months, who they claim he was targeting.
Plus, 1 year later, we hear from a husband who lost his wife in Helene, the heartbreak he lives with every single day.
And it is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. We want to remind you of that. You're looking live at Goldsboro this morning. We're expecting more showers today and into the weekend. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner and Grant Skinner tracking the biggest impacts from this rain headed our way.
8:43 today and tomorrow are both WRAL weather alert days for some isolated flooding that we could end up seeing. It's all because of this front. This front's going to stall over us over the weekend with lots of tropical moisture feeding into it. It's going to bring us some pockets of heavy rain. We had a few sprinkles up near the Virginia line. Those have moved out, but I'm watching some more rain down here near Charlotte. That's going to start to move into the Sandhills likely within a couple of hours. A 20% chance this morning. It's a 50% chance later this afternoon. That means it's not a washout. It's not going to rain all day, but there may be some pockets where we have some heavy rain that could cause some flooding today. Today's a level 1 risk. Tomorrow's a level 2 risk for flooding. So that chance definitely goes up on Saturday. Chance of rain goes up too from 50% today to 70% tomorrow, back down to 50 on Sunday. Between now and Sunday, all through the weekend, all total, we could see anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain. So again, it's going to be a wet one, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. Happening now. And right now, we're seeing nothing but delay-free circumstances on major routes this morning. If you look along with I-40 and Rock Quarry Road, those are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. And basically, very little to no delays in many of our major routes, including US 1, Capitol Boulevard, just a couple of minutes delays if you're coming in from Wake Forest. And similarly, we're not seeing any major delays on any of those major routes in Durham as well at this hour.
All right, Ken, looking ahead, a new massive tariff on some imported drugs will take effect starting next month. President Donald Trump announced brand name or patent drugs will be subject to a 100% tariff yesterday. The tariff won't apply to drug makers who are building manufacturing plants in the U.S. Trump is using tariffs as a way to pressure drug manufacturers to ramp up production in the U.S. and to strengthen the supply chain for essential medicines.
Hey, Kelsey, I want to bring you into the WRAL Live Center. Maybe in the past 10 or 15 minutes, we saw this video come in over our feed from NBC that shows the moment that people started panicking after the gunshots were fired outside that ICE facility. You see that van right there? People start leaving there. They eventually make it indoors where you'll see the surveillance footage from inside. At one point, someone's rolling in just to try to get from safety. That is how hectic things were in that situation. Now, we have learned that the shooter did turn the gun on himself, and investigators say they weren't necessarily targeting anyone specific, just sort of firing indiscriminately. But this video here just shows you the panic that ensued after the gunshots were first started being fired.
And one more thing, Chris, the FBI says the gunman who shot at that Dallas ICE facility was planning the attack for months. Authorities say the shooter just started firing with no specific person being targeted, as Chris just mentioned. The shooter hit a van. Inside were people who were ICE detainees. One of them was killed. Now, there are growing calls for federal officials to release the names of the people who were killed or wounded in that shooting. A Mexican official says one victim is a Mexican national. Federal officials claim the shooter was shooting at ICE agents, not migrants, but we should point out that no law enforcement agents were hurt.
And a live look now at RDU, where starting in March, 2 new flights will connect the Triangle with tropical destinations. Breeze Airways is adding flights to Montego Bay, Jamaica, and Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. The airline CEO says it hopes to add even more flights next year. Breeze says the growth in the Triangle is making RDU good for business. The airline is also opening a new crew base next year. This is set to bring in a couple hundred jobs for pilots and flight attendants.
I want them to add a flight directly to St. Thomas. How about that? See my family. Anyway, music history going up for bids, and Gerard Butler is back for the next installment of an action franchise. David Daniel has more in the Hollywood Minute.
A piece of Oasis history is going on the block. Prop Store's music memorabilia live auction includes Noel Gallagher's 1960 Gibson guitar that Liam Gallagher damaged the night in Paris when the band broke up. It's estimated it could bring up to $660,000. Other big items up for bid include John Lennon's Lost Weekend glasses, which could go for $200,000 or more, Elvis Presley's Grand Prix sunglasses, estimated at $10,000 to $20,000, and Michael Jackson's fedora from his Smooth Criminal video, estimated at $50,000 to $100,000. The auction is October 23rd and 24th. More info at PropStoreAuctions.com.
I want a new beginning for our family.
Okay, the Clark crater is our best bet.
The Garrity family is on the move again after years underground following a devastating comet strike in the first trailer for Greenland 2 Migration. Gerard Butler and Marina Baccarin return in the action sequel, which arrives in theaters January 9th. Taking cover in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Wake County Schools is celebrating the opening of a new school year. It held a ceremonial ribbon cutting at Felton Grove High School in Apex. It opened last month with about 800 students for its first year. Felton Grove is one of 4 new schools in the county this year.
Well, the husband of a woman who is still missing a year after Helene sharing his grief. Rod Ashby talked about his wife, Kim, in our new WRAL documentary about Helene. Kim and Rod were in their cabin in Elk Park when the storm hit. The house actually slid off the embankment and into the river.
I looked up and there was a big tree, and I told her, hang on, we're going to hit a tree. And we hit the tree. And I couldn't hold on to her.
I'm sure he relives that constantly. God bless him. Crews searched for Kim Ashby for months but never found her body. She's one of 108 people who died in North Carolina from that storm. Kim Ashby's family talks about her life and the effect it's had on her family. In that documentary, Helene, What We Lost, What We Found. You can watch it wherever you stream WRAL or on our WRAL YouTube channel.
Just so many heartbreaking stories there from that documentary. And we know that this morning we're still keeping our eyes out on the tropics, Elizabeth.
We are. We have this cold front right here that's going to be our big weather maker for the weekend. And we're going to see a lot of rain developing along this. It's not going to be a washout. It's not going to rain all weekend long, but we're just going to have pockets of showers and storms that develop. We do have a little rain that's down here around Charlotte and northern South Carolina, likely to move on in here and just bring us a little light rain this morning. We'll have a better chance of some scattered storms later on this afternoon. We had a little rain up around South Hill, Virginia. That has tapered off. We do have a level 1 out of 4 risk for some flooding for it today. It'll be a better chance later this afternoon, and then that chance goes up Saturday to a level 2 out of 4 risk for flooding. Let's walk through Friday and Saturday together. You can see here this morning it shows a little bit of light patchy rain, and then by early afternoon a few cells begin to pop up, but you can see we're not completely covered with green. It's not going to be a total washout. At 5 o'clock there'll be some areas that are seeing some showers and storms, and then that will continue on through the evening. But again, you can see it's patchy. And even though the rain was patchy yesterday, we still had some flooding around Benson as they were trying to get the Mule Days event going. So, there'll be pockets where we could see flooding, but everybody won't see it. 50% chance today, 70 tomorrow, 50 Sunday, and then 60 to 80 on Monday and Tuesday. That's going to be variable depending on what happens in the tropics. Umberto has already become a hurricane, and we can follow the path for that, and the models are in pretty good agreement on that. Now, this is potentially Imelda, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Let's track Umberto, which is likely to become a major hurricane and last as a major hurricane up until the early part of next week. It's possible that it'll be Category 2 off the coast of North Carolina. No indication that this will make landfall, but Hurricane Aaron didn't make landfall either. It passed by the Outer Banks as a Category 2, so we could see similar impacts on our Outer Banks, which were still pretty serious. All right, we'll track Imelda. It could do one of two things. Some of the models want to push it into the southeast, particularly the Carolinas, but if Umberto is strong enough and they're close enough together, Umberto could help to push it away from the coast. That is a more unlikely scenario. In the meantime, between now and Tuesday, we're looking at as much as 4 to 5 inches of rain, depending on what happens in the tropics, and of course that flooding threat too. Of course, that could impact your weekend. So meteorologist Grant Skinner here to talk about what that looks like.
Now watching the tropical system next week and watching that front this weekend, bringing a better chance for showers and storms. WRAL weather alert day today and also tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's rain chance starting around lunchtime, that will really pick up. A better chance for scattered showers and storms that will continue into the evening. So keep that in mind for your weekend plans. Saturday looking wetter, and for Virginia Tech at NC State starting at 7 o'clock. Temperatures starting in the mid-70s with those storm chances staying around. Also watching for those coastal impacts from that tropical system into the first half of next week. Right now, winds could be stronger depending on the path. We'll have to watch that closely. What's soon to be Imelda, wherever that tracks. But rough surf and high risk for rip currents are expected as that system tracks at least close by to our area. But again, we'll have a better idea once it becomes better organized and we see how Umberto strengthens over time and how it tracks. WRAL weather alert day today and tomorrow, then cooling off into next week. Better chances for showers and storms during the first half.
All right, Grant, thanks. Before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers, and we'll get another check on weather and traffic next.